the NICU is a chaotic place by nature. It's like, and I think we've talked about it being almost like a beehive in some senses. Like there are people just all over the place doing multiple things, and I think it's important for parents to somehow recognize that they're allowed to ask questions. They're allowed to be as much a part of it as they want to be, and that it is the job of the providers to help facilitate and support that. I think that for us, something that we long for since losing Sage is that feeling of like really heightened focus and sharpness that you have when you're in such a serious and ever-changing experience. Things were so rapid with Sage and the risks were so high that you have to be fully heightened, really, to be at the level you need to be at, to be on par with people who are in it every day. And it's okay as a parent to need to slow that down a little bit and to ask for that kind of help from the providers. And I think it's also really important for parents to not spend all of your time taking notes and asking questions, but also make time to hold and touch your child as much as you possibly can and try and somehow exist in those moments and really hold on to the gratitude and all that can come from that. Because I think that's a huge part of it. It's just you're still the parent to your child. It's not at all what you thought it was going to be, and you're not at home, and you're in a place that is very far removed from probably anywhere that you thought you were going to be with your newborn, but you're still mom or dad or family member, whoever it is that's there. Yeah. And there's time to be that in a natural way, not just in a supporting role.
Well, it's both. It's dual. I remember having a really hard time with the fact that I couldn't pick up my child when I wanted to. Sage didn't cry much. I think that he was too sick to cry. But, if I could tell that he was in distress, my instinct, I wanted to just grab him and hold him, and I couldn't do that. We were always restricted. And it is hard because there are nurses, there are people constantly touching him and caring for him, changing their diapers, so do what you can, like he said, to be involved. Eric and I always tried to change his diapers. He didn't really wear clothing because he didn't, it just didn't really work with his condition. But
he had hats.
Yeah, he wore lots of hats. We provided him with toys, and he had favorite toys. The thing that was really incredible, in the NICU they provide like mobiles, and just
sound machines,
like things that actually you would put in a baby's crib. And I think that's really lovely, and I think it really helps. We always had music playing for Sage, even if we weren't playing music ourselves. We had piano music that we were always playing for him. He had a favorite book that even the nurses recognized was his favorite book, like separate from us.
Yeah, they would ask us, like, he really likes this page.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Because he would respond. So I think that it's really important in the hospital setting to try and create as many routines as you would if you were home. Holding your child is by far the most important, and it's really healing, too. I think every time I felt really despondent, just being able to hold Sage and just spend time with him, I think that's the thing that I really miss. And when I was in the hospital with him, I knew I was going to miss those moments, and I really tried as best as I could to hold on to them. But creating routines, I think Eric and I did something that I really strongly stand by, which is we did not go on social media. We made an effort we weren't on our phones. We didn't talk to people. There was whatever communication needed to be shared with like our families and friends, but we didn't want to be online. We weren't the type of people to be like actively sharing what was happening. It was far too serious. And it was so ever changing that Eric and I needed to just be consumed with what was going on.
Yeah, it's important to not be distracted And I think it can be really tempting to find small ways to try and soften the blow of whatever is happening. And like Hannah said, we didn't have a lot of people in the hospital with us. We really relayed information, through a point person, really. But when things are happening that fast and when it's so chaotic, it's really, in order to be present in a way that's going to create the meaning that we've talked about, that sort of facilitates all these moving parts coming into a useful fruition. It's important to really be present, but also to you need to take care of yourself in some ways too.
Which was hard. I mean,
it's impossible.
For me personally, pumping was extremely important, and I did that up until the doctors told me not to any longer, and that was an incredibly grounding and connective thing.
I think it was for both of us.
Yeah.
Really.
It was definitely losing that piece of it was a huge loss also, but I felt like I was really contributing. If there was one thing I could do, if I couldn't be like a normal mother, at least I could keep doing that and try. So that was big. And I think, Eric and I trying to do as many normal things as possible.